Bucks, go Bucks. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Go Bucks, go Bucks. First and goal, we gotta tough it out. Get in the end zone and call a hot route. O-line a beast, Mike down the street. Can have Humphreys run right underneath. You know it's Bucks ball, we got the hardest D. Bring the pressure to the QB. You know it's routine, we got hard grease. Welcome to Tampa, welcome to Tampa. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Reppin' for my team. Go Bucks, go Bucks. You know we want the ring. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Welcome to the Bay. Go Bucks, go Bucks. Tune in with Buccaneer Blade. Doug's back, we can run the toss. Mike Evans looking like Randy Moss. And Jameis making play after play. On the defense, you can't stop Levante. On my boy McCoy, who you can't avoid. At the Raymond James, you about to feel the pain. If you a Bucks fan, make a lot of noise. If you a Bucks fan, make a lot of noise. Go Bucks.
Much better. Welcome back to Bucnblake Sports with your host, Mr. Buccaneer Blake himself. Now, well, let me start off with the usual. If you missed today's show, you can catch today's show on www.bucnblakesports.com, NERT.com, Twitter at Buck and Blake, IG at Bucnblake Sports. You can catch the stuff that you've missed in the previous or today's show, so forth and so forth. But let's get it rolling. Let's start with the top. Gerald McCoy. I read an interesting article today. Gerald McCoy feels he hasn't done enough to lead this team to where it needs to be. And I've had an argument with my Skip Bayless that I call. His name is Anthony Tony. He goes to the games with us, me and Andrew Deason and the crew. Andrew's father, Mike Deason, news reporter most of you guys might know. Well, investigative reporter that most of you guys might know, recently retired. Congratulations to you, Mr. Deason, on your retirement. You've been a great stand-up guy since I've met you. And I'm just glad for the blessings to know you guys and everything. You guys taking me in, treated me well. Since I've known you here, since I moved here in Tampa. I just want to get that out there. You never know. Tomorrow's never promised. So, I read an interesting article with Gerald McCoy today. He feels he's not doing enough to put the team over the hump, get us where we needed to be. And like I said previously, I've argued with Tony over this topic. He says he doesn't come up big on third downs and fourth downs and fourth quarters and et cetera, et cetera. And I say he's right and he's wrong. Yes, that's accurate. But much things that's happened here in Tampa Bay, it's either we have one or we have the other. What I mean by that is, first and foremost, I've said this several times, a million times. Michael Bennett should have still been on this roster. We probably wouldn't even be having this conversation. Gerald McCoy has been the only anchor on this defensive line for years, and everybody's expecting everything out of him from an interior lineman. I said, granted, J.J. Watt's been there, but J.J. Watt has never been alone on that Texans defensive line either. He's had several first-round picks on that rush. I think that 1 year, the entire front seven were first-round picks. And they're just two different kind of players. But what I mean is, when I say we have one thing or the other, like we've had one defensive lineman, and it's easier to game plan against one guy on big downs than it is versus three guys, or it is versus two guys, or 2.5 guys, or guys that can come up when they need to come up. And what I mean is that you game plan on big downs to double team McCoy, and nobody else can come through when they need to. You expect one guy to pull their weight through the whole thing. And much thing is saying with the receivers, you have one receiver, then everybody's on a game plan to cover the one receiver. You have nobody else that could come up with a catch or get open, et cetera, or you have no wide receivers and you have a run game, and then you can just key against the run game and force you to throw to guys who can't get open. Like I said, it's one thing or the other. It's always been like that in Tampa Bay. It hasn't been a cumulative thing where you can go from one, if this doesn't work, let's go to that. If that doesn't work, let's go to that. And you move around, you can change the game plan around for what works, what the defense is giving you, and what the defense is giving you. And And like I said, I get what he means. He really takes living in this town, this team seriously, as if he's a quarterback. So I when I see Buck fans treat him as such, I just think it's the stupidest thing ever. I don't think you'll find a more committed player to a community and a team than Gerold McCoy. I really don't think you will. And granted, if you want to get mad that he doesn't come up with certain players or not, but I wouldn't look too far into it. You want to drive away somebody who cares about this community, who cares about this team, who cares about you as the fans, which there's a lot of players that don't. They're just here for the paycheck. They could give lackluster performance with big paychecks, and they don't care much about you. And he is not one of those guys. So again, you have to appreciate what you have in front of you. And he's not going to be around forever. It's coming to an end sooner or later. And I would like for Gerold McCoy to somewhat say, hey, he was a part of that. He got something in the end instead of losing seasons since he's came here. I would like him to see something, say, hey, I helped that. That's what I think at the end of the day, that's what he's going to look at. What did I actually do to help this team? Did I change it? Did I change it for better or for worse? And I think that's the way he looks at it instead of wins and losses and personal stats. And that's admirable. I commend him for that, for thinking that way instead of thinking selfishly and thinking of the team instead. Which I wish a lot of players did. Jimmy. Alright, moving on. Us as journalists, us as broadcasters, whatever you want to call us, bloggers, etc., 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 we have an obligation. I believe we have an obligation to not only give you accurate information, but to do it in a way in such you show the person that you're giving it to some respect. If it comes to a person, granted, some cases where some dude killed somebody or something like that. Even in that cases, you're innocent until proven guilty. Yeah, like I said, I think, like I said myself, as a journalist, a blogger, whatever you want to call me, or whatever I want to call myself, I think you have an obligation to give your opinion, but show the person some respect at the same time. And what I mean by that is, I read an article today, well, not today, a couple days ago, or yesterday, the day before, about the whole Todd Heap thing. And like I said, I'm not gonna go deep into it out of respect. I thought Stephen A. and them covered it pretty well. If you put it out, man runs over his ex-man runs over his 3-year-old daughter in the driveway. Like, you can't put that out there like that. You just put family has a tragic accident, okay, and then somebody will go in and look at it and then read, oh, that's what happened. You put that out as the main headline. That's tragic, that's sad, and it just shouldn't be exploited like that just to get attention on yourself because you put the story out. And like I said, your morals, I keep coming back to that world, your morals as a human being, as an artist, as a journalist, you have obligations, I believe, that you need to abide by. And the news, a lot of us news guys aren't held accountable for the stuff that we say. One thing that you can attack is our credibility. And what I mean by your credibility is, are you selling your soul to put out information, whether it's good or bad or indifferent, just so people can pay attention to you? That's the thing you can come at with us, giving false information. And the other part, and the other one was Isaiah Thomas with his sister passing the day before the game. I said this before, why are athletes and stars held to a higher standard than thus of parents, thus of people interacting with children and people that actually make a difference in the world? These guys just play a sport, and you hold them to a higher accountable, you hold them to a higher standard, you hold them to higher expectations just because they play a sport. That's just solely backwards. You expect people in the entertainment industry to have more knowledge and more insight and more credibility than somebody who's political science or or a doctor's degree that's been in the education field for many years, and their word would be less important than somebody who shoots a ball in a hoop. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. Yeah, his sister died, and I just think people were insensitive to it and ought to get paid millions. I mean, he could have took the day out, just like you take a day off of work, which you probably would have. For if your family member passed, your mother, your father, your brother, your sister, he played out there. They lost, but he gave the best he could. He was crying and all that stuff. Like, that's hard, man. I can't imagine. It's gonna happen to me eventually, but like I say, I can't imagine. Something like that tragically happening. Like Dwayne Wade's cousin was killed in a drive-by shooting. Stuff like that. It's just devastating, and I couldn't fathom thinking about that. Like, everybody thinks it's all hunky-dory, and you can say your opinions about how somebody should feel or what they should do until it happens to you. It's just, I know I probably shouldn't get joy out of that, but I really do. When I see somebody opinion quickly flip, all of a sudden the tables have turned, and now all of a sudden it affects you. I probably shouldn't feel that way, but it gives me great satisfaction to see when that happens. To somebody who's been insensitive, then all of a sudden now it affects your life, and now all of a sudden your opinion changes. Just like that, in a blink of an eye, your opinion changes. So at the end of the day, is your word really credible? Or are you just running your mouth? Alright, let's move on from that. Winston loving AP. What's not to love about Adrian Peterson? He's 32 years old. He takes care of himself. He's been a model citizen. He's been a great teammate, a great player in the NFL. And he's been training with Winston. They want to play together. Especially at his age, he wants to play with good friends, and he wants to play with people you're going to enjoy and have memories with. And there's options if they want to go the Adrian Peterson route. You don't owe Doug Martin anything because he was suspended, so you could cut him and pick up Adrian Peterson. You've re-signed Jacquez Smith. You have Charles Smith. Yes, you have Charles Smith, and you still have the option to draft a running back. Because Adrian Peterson wouldn't be a long-term solution. You could do that, or you can keep Doug Martin, keep him on the roster if you believe in Doug Martin, and keep Charles Sims, or trade Charles Sims, or draft another running back. There's tons of options you can do here. If they want to go the route of Adrian Peterson. Now, I hope he doesn't play in our division. I hate playing against him twice a year, but I know it wouldn't be for long because he's 32 years old. So there's options there. What we can do with AP, what we can't do with AP, or Doug Martin. It's really up to. I think it's going to matter to Doug Martin what he does this offseason and the preseason. I think that's going to make a huge difference to see where he's at with his suspension. That situation. Short. The Panthers signed Short to a $18 million a year deal, 5 years. When I see $18 million, I think that's astronomical for a guy of his caliber. When you say $18 million, you say he's the best at that position, or one of the best at that position. I think he's one of the best on the team at that position, but I don't think he's one of the best in the league at his position to deserve $18 million. Again, he's a grown man. He's worked hard. He plays in the league. If he deserves $18 million, who am I to tell him he's not? But I think in the end, it's going to end up biting the Panthers in the rear for giving this man that kind of contract money. I think Cam Newton I don't even think Cam Newton makes that. What's going on, Ashley? I don't think Cam Newton makes $18 million a year with the Panthers. But I think it's just an astronomical number for that kind of player. And I think he benefited with his stats from a well-flourished defensive line. Like I said prior, Gerald McCoy put up his numbers without help on that line, without help. Just interested to see what people's careers would be if they actually had the equity of, I'm not gonna say equity, with the correct help on the line or at a certain position, so much pressure wouldn't be on you. You'd be able to come up big in fourth quarters, come up big on third downs, and et cetera, et cetera. I think that would be important. And let's go to last but not least, draft day. Whole lot of speculation, especially, with my team. We keep talking about the safety position. Like I said, do you want to go with a player like Cam Chancellor, or do you want to go with a guy like Earl Thomas? You want a guy in the box that can stuff runs, which we weren't bad at stopping runs, or you need a guy who can cover. I think you need a guy who can cover. The big hitter and all that stuff, that helps, and that makes a difference with players, whether they want to come over the middle or not, or run a certain way. I mean, it makes a difference. But in this game, you got to cover. It's a passing league, and you're going to have to cover. You guys, this group is quiet. Perez and everybody. No, nobody's there. With Q&A time, this would more likely be a Q&A time. Again, it's not a lot that goes on this time of the year. You got NBA going on, NBA playoffs. People losing their first game, people winning their first playoff game in the first round. Baseball's just started, seeing the Rays and Lightning are out of the playoffs. NBA playoffs are going to start heating up, but not much really, as far as the football world, where my majority of my expertise is in the football department. Talking to people, getting insight, people's opinions and stuff like that. And then you got golf that'll come up eventually, but I really try to get into golf. I'm not gonna pretend like I'm an expert at that. I try to get into that. I play some miniature golf, but I don't think I could tee off. My brother's tried to go to the driving course, but yeah. Well, guys, that's a pretty short cast today. There's not much that goes on until the draft comes up. I'll give you news. I put out the blogs on the stuff that I see going on and stuff. So I'm not doing shows, longer shows. But I put up the blogs and stuff, and you guys can comment on it or tell me what you think. Like I said, it's on www.bucnblakesports.com, nearchi.com, and it's all there for you. Like I said, I don't have much today. I appreciate you guys tuning in as you always do. And this, as we always do, you're the master of everything what you do with your life. What you do with it is entirely up to you. Y'all be safe and God bless.
And we still East Coast. Yeah. Whoa. You already know it's Snoop Boy in this bitch. It's Snoop Boy scaring niggas like a Ouija board. Seeing is believing, honestly, I can't see you boys. Best to debate. I roll up and blow my verses away. They wanna know how I do it, they've been lurking for days. Still haven't figured a nigga out. Smoking out on the couch with real niggas, man, I feel like a scout. Cause all I do is draft bitches, train them up for you niggas. They come back every day and say they done with you niggas. I talk a lot of shit, but mean it in the best way. I don't fuck with you niggas, I read you like an x-ray. I can see a lot of bitch in you from your display. Watch the nuke drop from above versus DK. Your body like Miley Cyrus, nobody just zombie virus. Mind you, I'm just a pirate, smoking get high like pilots. Man, a couple grand, I bury them in the sand. Son of Saddam, I'm bombing on niggas like it's Iran. Swoosh, yeah. I feel like Nike gave me a deal. I'm on the road, just cruising like four wheels. I'm a flywheel made of indestructible steel. My power can't be controlled. I'm undertaking your soul. My chokehold sick like catching a cold. Got that medication, good weed, will redefine gravitation. OG, I take off with no hesitation. I'm stacking up while you hating. And most women love me like fornication. I feel I'm real. I was on 22nd and late with the steel and some old. Saw the cops had to go. 40 seconds later, niggas rolled up, said you know. Snub nose to my dome, I was sweating the cold. Damn, I lost all my shit. My girl said get a grip, I lost all my grip. No hooks, nigga, look, if you leave this shit, I'ma take what you left, my 16s or this. It don't take much just to get your chick to strip, but that's another story. Had her on them blues, now I call her Dory. I'm on the corner with a 40 in a new category, it's new. Blow up the city and rebuild it. TV fitted, you know I killed it. Saw the house, the shit just got real and we just filmed it.